Hello everyone and welcome back to the JP on Comms channel. Just before we get into this breakdown of the Braintree Town game last night, just want to rattle off a couple of things before we get into it. News-wise, first of all, I just want to say thank you all so very much for tuning in last night on Stones Live. It was my first commentary back of the season. Connor, of course, did join me for that one as well, someone who is also involved behind the scenes on the channel. Lots of very nice comments coming online on that, social media and things. Just about the commentary in general, really exciting, really good to listen to. So just want to say thank you all for that. I'll be heading up to Yeovil as well for that one at the weekend, so do stay tuned if you can't make it. I'll be bringing you the commentary and behind the scenes as well on the Instagram. So if you don't already follow the Instagram, it'll be down there in the corner or down there in the corner. Give the Instagram a follow if you've got it. Loads of behind the scenes stuff that I post on match days as well, behind the scenes media stuff, so do give that a follow. Second thing I want to say as well, besides those thank yous, is a happy birthday to Lamar Reynolds, my birthday twin. You would have seen if you follow me on Twitter as well, which will be there somewhere. I did break my commentary hoodoo 2 years on the trot for this season. I did commentate home and away against Dorking Wanderers on my birthday. We did lose both of those games. I did tweet about breaking that last night. And Dorking Wanderers was the first person, was their first account to like it. So clearly they're missing us being in the same division as them a little bit more than we are. Very thankful that we did get a win as close to my birthday as possible. But very happy with the result, and we're going to talk about that right now. So happy birthday, Lamar, and thank you all for the comments about the commentary. So taking a look at this Maidstone versus Braintree game, obviously Maidstone did come away with a victory after the Bath Town game on the weekend. A much more convincing performance, I'd say arguably more convincing than that of the Slough Town game. We looked very, very stable in pretty much every system we played. And the first thing I want to talk about is, of course, the changing of systems from George Edakobi. A lot of questions have been asked, of course, since George took over way back at the start of 2023 about his tactical nous. Does he have the knowledge, despite his lack of experience, to be able to carry Maidstone through difficult periods in games and difficult games in general? And I think yesterday he showed that more than certainly. He started off with a 4-3-3, a lot of changes to personnel as well from the game against Bath City. We even saw the likes of Bivesh Gurung getting a start in that one. Of course, a completely different front three, really, in terms of Ogo Obi, Liam Sol and Lamar Reynolds starting. Lamar didn't even feature against Bath on the weekend, and Ogo, of course, didn't get an entire game, but it's very good to see that we lined up a little bit differently. Obviously understood that 5 at the back was maybe not the best way to get into a game and establish that foothold. We did line up with a 4-3-3. Chi, Greenwich, Fowler and Hoyt making up the back line. Bone, Bivesh and Korn making up the midfield 3. And Lamar, Ogo and Liam Sol making up the front line. And for me, the numbers in midfield really allowed us to prevail in the first kind of 30 minutes or so of the half. I thought we looked very, very bright. Obviously, right at the start of the game, we did have a lot of possession. We got on the front foot quite a lot as well. A good few chances, a lot of set pieces, high up the pitch as well in terms of corners and free kicks. And I thought that was really, really good. I like seeing that. But of course, as is the nature of the game, Braintree did get their kind of wave in the game, their opportunities come forward and attack us. And when the going got tough, George switched it up a little bit. He brought Liam Sol back. He then kind of set up Bone and Bivesh as a kind of bank in front of that line, and Korn was implementing himself a little bit around in front of them, getting those interceptions in, getting those tackles in, and obviously running that midfield very well. And then obviously you've got the other players in Obi and Lamar Reynolds being able to just apply pressure from the front. And I think Obi was kind of ushered out of the game yesterday. They had a very, very good defensive line. That's why I think our forwards didn't get too many chances. That's why we ended up scoring with people coming in from the midfield, because the forwards were picked up really well by Braintree. They had a very, very deep line at times. They had a lot of players back. You would have seen it from the highlights, if they're out by the time you've seen this video, that there was a lot of times we did have shots towards goal. They never made it through to the keeper because they had so many people parked in the box. And I think that showed that Maidstone were definitely on the front foot for the large majority of the game. But for me, it was that tactical manipulation from George Edakobi when things got tough to switch it up, into that 5 at the back formation. I think that is what he would have been hoping for against Bath and maybe against Slough when we tried to shore things up towards the end of the game. We did look a little bit shaky in those previous fixtures in this formation, but I think in the Braintree game we looked a lot more cemented, a lot more comfortable and succinct in terms of how we played. You know, everything seemed to just gel together a lot more efficiently, and I like that in the team. I like seeing that on the pitch, and that benefited us in every part of the field as well. So for me, very impressed with George from this game. Obviously, it's the first of many, many steps. It's nice to see another notch to his kind of managerial belt there. I just like seeing that difference. I like seeing that ability to change when going gets tough. Of course, in the past, we've seen with managers that sometimes they just stick to their ways. You know, we may be losing in a game, we may be chasing all 3 points from a drawing position like we were yesterday, and nothing changes. We just hope for the best and try and grind out a point, or try and hope that we can get a goal from just playing the same way. But we didn't see that yesterday. We did chop and change a little bit, and I really like that as well. Looking at individuals in the game, I thought, of course, quite a few players had a very good performance. Sam Bone and Sam Corn obviously picking themselves up a goal each in very spectacular fashion. Very happy with both of their performances. Sam Corn, I believe, got the man of the match on the hot take from myself and Connor last night, but not to say Sam wasn't up there as well. Sam Bone wasn't up there as well. Quite confusing, two midfielders called Sam having a good game and scoring a goal. But in the defence, I thought Gavin started off a little bit shaky, ended up performing really well. Cheers and Olin was superb. I thought throughout the majority of the game, really had the kind of pickings of a lot of players who went down his side. They sent about 3 different players throughout the match down his side, and he ended up getting the better of most of them most of the time, which is a good thing to see. I thought Reece Greenwich had a good game as well. George Fowler too, and very impressed by the defensive line for Maidstone. Midfield, as I've already said, really good. Bivesh started off quite slow in the first half, I thought, but grew into the game. Last 20 minutes or so was one of the main reasons that Braintree couldn't try and counter-attack us when we was applying late pressure. He did intercept the ball a lot of times in that midfield as they started to break forward, and ended up actually winning back possession for Maidstone and setting us up to go forward and do the same back to them. So impressed with Bivesh on the whole. A little bit more confidence, I think, on the ball and in playing the ball, and we'll see Bivesh become a very key part of this team in the future. As for the forward line, I thought Lamar Reynolds looked dangerous at times, but needs to maybe be a little bit more selfish. There's a couple times he got in a good position to maybe just get a shot off. Not, a guaranteed scoring position, but enough to test the goalkeeper. But at times he would often try and find another player, often accidentally overhitting the ball, which resulted in Maidstone's loss of possession. So I think a little bit more selfishness from Lamar, and we might see a few more goals come like we did at the end of pre-season. I thought Ogo, unfortunately, like I said at the start, was just ushered out of the game. It was probably not the right game for him. Unfortunately, Braintree far too defensive, but he did put himself about. He did work the ball well down the flanks. Ended up being a good option, trying to just win the ball down on the ground and try and just release a few different players into those attacking areas. And Liam Soul for me had his first game in a Maidstone shirt where I actually understood what he was supposed to be doing. In the past, I've questioned the sort of role he's playing. I've questioned maybe it's a square peg in a round hole type thing, obviously playing a more wing back position at times, and has looked a little bit questionable in doing the kind of backhand four thing. But I thought yesterday he looked really good. I thought he was very, very impressive going forward. Obviously got that spectacular assist for the Sam Corn goal. Lovely hooked cross in towards the back post. But for me, all game, he just created a very dangerous outlet down the right-hand side for Maidstone. And for me, if we see a lot more of that from him in this coming season, then he's going to be a top player for us, of course. I think there was times where he could have done a little bit better. The ball got away from him, or a touch just kind of went under his foot and he had to recollect himself, and by then the opportunity to break forward was already gone. But I think overall a very impressive performance from him. I thought Levi coming on off the bench was superb again. Love Levi Amanchi. He's probably my favourite player in this Maidstone team besides Reece Greenwich. Just got a thing for the way he moves on the ball. I love it. I mean, you don't see a player of his nature, that kind of central striker, being able to perform so well in those wider roles, in the technical areas of the field. A couple times he was under pressure from one or two different players in a flank and ended up managing to beat them, getting a good ball in to somebody else to open up an opportunity in the middle. And I really like that about him. He's a very, very good player with a lot of different options provided in a forward line. I think if he can get himself to the stage where he's capable of playing full 90s very regularly, he could be a very useful player for us. But what we've got to remember is that there's never really been a period in recent years where he has played a full 90 every week for 40 plus games a season. So it's going to take him a little time to get up to speed. I think probably within the next few weeks we might be seeing him getting full 90s a bit more regularly, but very happy with what we're seeing from him so far. Very impressed. Solwangel Smith as well, under that same umbrella of Levi. I thought he impressed in the short time he was on the pitch. Obviously didn't contribute as much to the goal as Levi did, but I don't think he was on the pitch for when we scored either of the goals. But he just provides a different option, doesn't he? He's a very dangerous player. He's someone that is going to draw the attention of defenders, and trust me, Braintree had enough of them yesterday. So I think, having those players able to come off the bench and still get a victory in the manner that we did is very impressive for me. One thing, as I say, going into the Yeovil game at the weekend that I want to see improve just a little bit is that shooting. I just want to see a few more shots off. Obviously, you see Bone taking a punt from outside the box, results in a goal, and sometimes you've just got to shoot. You've just got to try and test the goalkeeper, and I think a team against Yeovil aren't going to give up too many chances against a team like Maidstone, so I think we're going to have to try and release a few more shots. But I've got no doubt we'll put a good effort in against Yeovil no matter what the result will be. I've got very limited expectation just because obviously the nature of that game is going to be a very, very tough one away at Yeovil. Never an easy trip. If we can do what we did last season and come away with a point, I'll be very, very happy with that indeed. And my prediction for that game was a 2-2, as you'll see on my Instagram. If you're not already following my Instagram, do check it out for all those behind the scenes. Same goes for my Twitter as well. And if you're not already liking and subscribing to the channel, then do that as well here at the end of the video. But I'm going to wrap it all now. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll catch you after the Yeovil game at the weekend.